She walked into the mansion wearing elegance, confidence, and love. Yet the moment she stepped across the polished marble floor, whispers filled the room. Eyes darted, smirks spread, and subtle laughs echoed behind champagne glasses. She wasn't judged for her kindness, her brilliance, or her success. She was considered for the color of her skin. To them, she was an outsider, someone unworthy of their fortune, their family, their name. What they didn't know was that the very woman they mocked held the power to determine their empire's future. The night would end in humiliation, not for her, but for them. Watch until the end. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Amara Johnson was no ordinary woman. A self-made black business magnate, she built her fortune through resilience, intellect, and unshakable determination. Her company had grown into a global powerhouse, commanding respect across industries, yet she carried herself with humility. Love, however, had led her into a different world. She had fallen for Daniel, a millionaire whose family was steeped in generational wealth, old traditions, and rigid views of what belonged in their circles. Daniel adored her, but his family had never met her until the engagement dinner. To Amara, it was supposed to be a celebration of love, a blending of two worlds. She dressed in grace, ready to win their hearts, not with money, but with warmth. The mansion glittered with extravagance, filled with guests draped in designer suits and jewels. Yet beneath the glamour, the air was thick with judgment. Amara didn't know that she was walking into a storm, not of love and welcome, but of prejudice, mockery, and disdain. And this storm would test not only her heart, but her identity and her power. The first smiles seemed polite, but they quickly dissolved into whispers. At the long dining table, Amara felt eyes scanning her as though she didn't belong. A cousin leaned toward another, whispering loud enough for her to hear. "She's pretty." For her kind, a wave of chuckles rippled across the table. Others looked her up and down, measuring her against their invisible standards of worthiness. When she reached for her glass, one aunt muttered, "Careful with the crystal. It's older than her entire family's legacy." Laughter followed, sharp as knives cloaked in false smiles. Amara's heart pounded, but she sat tall, her poise unshaken. She had endured boardrooms where men twice her age underestimated her, yet this was different. This was not about her business. It was about her identity. As dinner progressed, the cruelty sharpened. A nephew snickered about how she wouldn't know which fork to use, while another mocked her name, pretending it sounded too foreign for a family like ours. Each comment was a reminder that, in their eyes, her skin defined her more than her soul or her success. Daniel's attempts to intervene fell flat, drowned in the chorus of ridicule disguised as jokes. Amara excused herself for a moment, stepping into the hallway where the grandeur of oil paintings and chandeliers seemed to mock her too. For a fleeting second, she questioned whether love was enough to endure such venom. What they didn't know was that the woman they dismissed, as unworthy, held a business empire that their very family depended on, an empire tied to a $120 billion deal that would soon decide their financial future. And Amara was the one with the final say. The laughter carried on inside as Amara re-entered, her expression calm, though her spirit burned. One of Daniel's uncles raised his glass and sneered, "To the bride, may she learn to fit in." A roar of approval filled the room. But before Daniel could defend her, Amara placed her glass down with quiet authority. She stood tall, her voice steady but piercing. "I've been listening all evening. You judged me, mocked me, and reduced me to the color of my skin. But what none of you realized is this. Tomorrow, my company was to finalize a $120 billion partnership with yours." Gasps cut through the room like thunder. "You thought I wasn't worthy of your family. But tonight I've realized, your family isn't worthy of mine." Silence followed. In that moment, their empire trembled. The room that once echoed with laughter now drowned in shame. Faces turned pale, wine glasses froze mid-air, and silence became heavier than gold. Daniel looked at her, torn between love and family, but he saw in her strength something undeniable. She wasn't just his bride. She was power itself. Amara walked away, her dignity intact, her love unbroken, but her decision final. The next morning, the deal was canceled, sending shockwaves through the financial world. Their empire, once untouchable, now faced collapse, all because of a prejudice they had chosen to nurture over respect. Her story became more than an engagement gone wrong. It became a reminder that racism doesn't just wound, it destroys. And when power lies in the hands of those once dismissed, justice finds its way. So tell me, what city and country are you watching from? Take care.